Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Dirty Gaming and the third installment of the Graveyard Only SSF run. The character is in a pretty good position before this episode to map really quickly and effectively, and it's got enough DPS to complete invitations, but I do expect to take the odd death. I still don't know if we've got any chance of completing T17 maps, but I think in the next episode we'll give it a go anyway. Why not? We're collecting some. Since you last joined me, I've leveled up to 96, as mapping feels very safe since we're clearing screens for the most part. The goals for this episode were to craft a pair of hopefully fractured +1 frenzy charge gloves, along with some new boots because they're definitely the weakest item that I have. I've tweaked some of the trees to add in essences since I will need these if I do manage to hit a fractured base. I've recorded all of the crafts along with the commentary, so I'll just include the live footage in the video as we go through. Before we get started, let's go through the trees I have at the moment. Now, I've only really changed my starting tree. My second tree is still Legion. I've not gone back to that yet. And the third is still my destructive play tree. So we'll just go over the changes to the first tree. So what I've done here, essentially I was covering all bases before. I was going Eater nodes, Exarch nodes, more pack size for Eater, more pack size for Exarch, or Exarch and Eater. But I've decided to drop these because I just can't fit everything in. We are still running shrines, but I don't feel like I need them anymore. So I think these may go at some point to add something else into this tree. Still keeping all the corpse nodes on this tree because this is something I'm going to need throughout the playthrough. So nearly all of my trees, if possible, want to have corpses on it to help me keep up the supply. I've also added in some essences. I've ignored this node because on tier 16 maps, it makes it quite difficult when it adds essences to bosses. And the one that just replaces all imprisoned monsters with the same essence doesn't really help me very much in SSF. I'd rather just gather the random essences that turn up in the map. So I'm taking Crystal Lattice to give me more essences, although again, I don't even know if this is worth it because there are not many essences where I've had 2 Shrieking. I've used all my Scarabs where I had like +1 to tier and guarantees essences. I'm using essence on the map device in every single map that I do, so that at least we get at least 3 essence monsters per map. So we're just taking amplified energies to make sure that at least 1 essence is Shrieking, guaranteeing an essence in the map, Crystal Lattice to get more monsters within essences, and then, yeah, essence on the map device every time I run this tree. We're keeping the map nodes because I want to keep my map supply up. And we're keeping the top hat because I am going Alch and Go. So this gives me, more quantity, more rarity, and I think more chances to get corpses because there'll be more monsters in the map. We'll have a quick look at the Essence tab as it stands at the moment. It's not doing too bad. I've not upgraded anything to Deafening because I don't know what sort of class I want to go for. And if it's something where it might take 100 essences to do, I don't think I've got it in me to farm like 300 Shrieking essences of the same type. We do have the option later of opening up a harvest tree, maybe changing the Legion tree to harvest, farming a ton of blue life force so that we can push them up to Deafening and change all of the ones I don't want into the ones that I do. But there are lots of different essences you can get, so we're going to need a lot of blue life force to do this. I'll go through the character at the end of the video because I don't want to spoil things. So for now, we'll just play some footage for some maps, some invitations, an example essence map. And then in between those, I'll show you the crafts that I completed in this episode, both failed and successful. So we're actually ready to do our first craft when we're looking to try and craft basically a base item. We only care about getting some haunting mods on these gloves and having a chance at fracturing them. It's pretty minimal chance to get this, and I'm not sure if I've set this up correctly, but I'm going to go through the craft that I'm looking for. So what we're looking to do is a pair of gloves, and we're looking to fracture +1 frenzy. You can also roll crit multi with a haunting modifier, so the best outcome would be fractured +1 frenzy and then crit multi. So what we're doing, pushing the item level up to 85 just in case it rolls suppression, and fractured T1 suppression would also be decent. Quality up to 30%. We're adding 1 explicit modifier. Ideally, when you're fracturing an item, you want it to be 4 modded, but every time I've tested it in Craft of Exile, the majority of the time it rolled 3 suffixes, so then you're unlikely to get your frenzy as a prefix. We're just going to go and test it one more time just to make sure it's kind of the right way to do it. So since this is a craft that's taken a while to get all the stuff together, I've kind of input exactly what my graveyard is going to be. We're just going to take off this +1. And then we're just going to generate a sample item. Rarity is about 30% chance to roll. So the problem is, even if you do hit +1, you are likely to get either rarity or this one just roll 2 random ones that are about 1% chance. That time it hit frenzy. This time it hit, again, lightning damage, which is super unlikely to roll. Hit frenzy, but that's because we've got 2 prefixes. So because we want to try and get crit multi and frenzy, we're going to try a 5 modded item. If we were just singularly fracturing this, you probably go for like a fracturing orb, go for a 4 mod, try and get your +1 frenzy and go for like a 1 in 4 fracture. But it's SSF, it's going to take me an absolute age to get a fracturing orb. So we're going to go for 2 fracture modifiers, but 5 actual explicit on the item. I have no idea if that's correct, but it's what I'm going to try and do. So we've got our haunted mods up to 824%. The more I put this up, the more frenzy rolled. I just don't want to overdo it because there is diminishing returns. We've increased crit because crit is also a haunted mod, so it just increases the chances even more to get crit multi as a suffix. There are physical haunted mods, so making them scarcer. There are chaos haunted mods, so making them scarcer. And there are some caster ones, so making them scarcer. Defense, because it appears a lot on the prefixes. Attributes you probably don't need, but it just lowers the chance that they appear on the suffixes. And life, because they appear quite a lot on prefixes and suffixes. We could even do life again, to be fair. But I think at this point, all it's really going to do is push rarity up rather than the haunted mods. So I think we'll just leave it as it is. We're pushing the modifier tier up. So this really doesn't matter for this because both the mods that we're looking for can only roll with 1 tier. But this is just in case it rolls something like T1 suppression and T1 life and fractures, both of those. It's not what we're looking for, but at least it'd be a decent pair of gloves. We are re-rolling the explicits mainly for the crit multi mod if we hit it because it's 15 to 25. If we can get that up nearer to 25, it's much better. We are fracturing 2 modifiers and then we're also crafting an additional item. I've used all my fractures in this, all my additional items, bar 1, I think, and then a lot of the corpses that boost effect, row effect, column effect. So if we take a look at some of the additional items, for example, this one's 38% because it's got this adjacent demon corpse and it's also in a column, and then this one is in a row. And so I've kind of boosted them up as much as I can. I could farm for ages to get, you know, lots of the additional things to save myself the kind of expensive corpses or the harder to find corpses, but at this point I want to try and get an item crafted. So maybe I shouldn't be so impatient and I should go and farm some more, but this is what we're going to do. So I think this is set up correctly. So we're going to go for a pair of slink gloves, item level 85, 30% quality, 1 extra explicit, fracture 2, and we're going to try firstly to roll frenzy, which is not guaranteed, and then try and fracture it. I think this is everything that I need. If I've messed it up, it's an absolute waste of farming time. I don't think I need anything else. This is as per Craft of Exile, so we're going to have to go and see how this goes. So we're going to get gloves, evasion, slink glove, item level 85, 5 modifiers, and we're going to exercise and hope for the best. So that you may allow them to grip their destiny. Ooh, fractured gloves. So we have, oh, that was such a brick. We got regen life and hybrid life and evasion. And then life and fire resistance. We didn't even get... Oh, we did get +1 frenzy on this, but the fractures are so bad. So, unfortunately, we missed out. We did hit +1 frenzy on one of them, and we hit crit multi on one of them, but we didn't get the fracture on either. This one was super unlucky. So maybe I should have put some more life scarcer in there, but I think we had enough in there that these were still pretty unlikely to roll. So, after farming for what feels like an eternity, we've got just about enough materials to attempt the glove craft. Again, I wanted 1 additional item more and 1 additional fracture more, but I've been farming forever and I just can't find them. I've filled in all the space around to do additional effect. I haven't had an additional craft drop in the last like 5 to 6 hours of farming, and I've kind of had enough. So we're going to roll these gloves. If they brick again, then I need to consider whether I want to carry on the series, just because it does take a ton of time. And the problem with SSF at the moment is there's not really a path to progression, because you get to where you can farm, you know, T16s, Guardian maps, normal bosses, but then you can't progress to Uber bosses if you want to, because you have to tackle T17 maps, and on certain builds they're very difficult. For lightning arrows, certainly with no defenses, they're going to be really hard. Yes, we might be able to fudge our way through 1 to unlock maybe the 5th slot, but to farm them consistently to get like Uber fragments is almost impossible, I'd say, on my build at the moment. So we're going to go again, armor, gloves, evasion, slink gloves, item level 85, 5 explicit modifiers, and I think I've got everything that I need to do, so let's go. You watch 1 item drop. And aid this soldier, so that you may allow them to grip their destiny. Okay, we got 2. Let's have a look. The first one is, oh my lord. That is super unlucky. I think we had 0.4% chance to roll attack, 0.5% chance to roll attributes. We fractured suppression with the melon up. Let's hope the second pair are a bit better. And they are... Oh, they could have been so good. We hit crit multi and frenzy. I mean, to be fair, those gloves are actually pretty decent. I was just looking at the fractures. So if we take a look at these gloves, we have a prefix to craft life. It's got evasion, +1 frenzy, T1 suppression. Yeah, I don't know why I said these gloves aren't good. Attack speed would be amazing on these gloves, but we don't have them. But that's certainly better than the power I've got. We've got T1 suppression, max frenzy charges, T1 evasion, crit multi, very high, lightning resistance. We can craft life on these, and then they can replace these gloves. Yeah, we miss out on the 9% attack speed, but I'm really not that bothered. At least we can call that a day. Yes, we didn't really hit the fractures that we wanted, but we actually ended up with a very, very good pair of gloves. Anyway, so happy with that. We can move on, look at what we want to craft next. The issue I have at the moment is I don't know what to farm because I'm getting a little bit bored and I don't really see a path for progression in SSF on this particular build. So what we might do is maybe do a couple more items just for fun and then maybe look at a second build that we want to start working on that can maybe tackle T17's better Uber bosses and things like that. But happy with those gloves, we can move on. So it's time to craft some boots because the boots are definitely the worst item I've got. They've only got 25% movement speed, mediocre resistances when it comes to graveyard crafting. So we're going to try and get some haunted mods on the boots. We're just going to pull over Craft of Exile quickly to show you what we're looking for. So if we look at the haunted mods on boots, we've got unaffected by burning ground, chilled, desecrated and shocked. We don't really want any of these, but I do want chaos resistance. So we're blocking burning ground, chill ground and shock ground because we're also blocking resistances at the same time. So we've got a high chance of getting unaffected by desecrated ground. What we're looking for is movement speed cannot be modified below base value, 35% movement speed and life. Then on the suffixes, I don't care. I don't need resistances. I just want chaos resistance. Now, unfortunately, because we want life on the prefix, we are very, very highly likely to get regen life as a suffix. But I don't actually mind that. It's not a bad stat to have. I don't need resistances. The only other thing we would want is suppression, and it's very hard to get T1 suppression up high. So we'll settle for life regen, not a problem. The ideal scenario would be 60 to 75% reduced poison duration, chaos resistance, spell suppression, unlikely because we're definitely going to get life regen. Then life here, movement speed 35%, and then movement speed cannot be modified to below base value. If I had some fractures, I'd probably throw some of these in as well, because if we could fracture something like movement speed and cannot be modified below base value, or chaos res and movement speed, it opens lots of options for essence crafting, but I used all my fractures on the gloves that I crafted. So this is not that likely to succeed, but again, it didn't cost too many corpses and not really any rare ones to actually get it crafted. The only issue I have is I can't be bothered to grind to guarantee tier 1 life. With the amount of extra effect I've got here, we've got 85% modifiers cannot roll. That assumes essentially that you're going to get T1 chaos resistance if you roll it, because there's only like 6 tiers of that. Same with movement speed. If it rolls, it has to be tier 1. The only thing this affects is life, where I might roll tier 2. but I don't want to grind for another like 6 of these just to get 1 more tier of life, considering the craft is very unlikely to hit. So we're doing +3 to item level to get it up to item level 86, because that's what you need for 35% movement speed on boots. Quality up to 30%, we may as well. 2 explicits. You can go 5 and leave something to craft, but it's kind of RNG as to whether it leaves a suffix or a prefix off. If it leaves a prefix off, I can't get the 3 prefixes that I want, and I'm unlikely to get, you know, even just life and movement speed. We do 300% chance for haunting modifiers. We could push this higher, but it doesn't look like it's necessary. We're going a lot of chaos for the resistance. Quite a lot of life because we do want life as a prefix, and I actually don't mind life regen as a suffix. Ton of speed because both the movement speed mods we want are prefixes, and then we're basically blocking everything else. And then the last thing I'm doing is re-rolling the explicit 6 times so that if we do roll chaos resistance, we're going to get a high value. If we roll less poison duration, we're going to get a high roll on that. Same for life. And it kind of makes up for the fact I can't roll T1 life, because if it does roll life, it should roll quite high. We could end up with an item with no life on it that could still be usable. We might get unaffected by desecrated ground, increased movement speed. Movement speed cannot be moved below base value, which is still decent. Yes, the life is pretty important for a build as squishy as mine, but I would probably settle for it. So I think we've got everything that we need. So we're going to go armor, boots, evasion, slink boots, make sure it's item level 86, and then we basically hope and pray.
May the ferocity of Thraldana free you of your anguish and aid this
Like, you don't need these boots for the build. I just thought it's a fun craft to do. So let's see what we ended up with. So we ended up with a very, very good pair of boots. Not amazing for my character because I don't get endurance charges, but in trade, I would think these boots would be pretty expensive. We got 72% reduced poison duration, +1 to maximum endurance charges, T1 movement speed, T1 life, T1 chaos res, and T1 regen life. And then we can go and put our Eldritch implicits on here just to get our action speed increase. Don't know what I'm going to do with the eater mods. We can figure that out later. But overall, they're a big upgrade to what I had. We've got more chaos resistance. We get our movement speed up 10%. And then we do get a very, very high reduced poison duration, which means I don't have to worry as much about poison. So to close out the video, before I go through the character, I'm going to be an idiot and run a T17 map. I've got like 10 or 11 of them anyway. It's SSF. I can't do anything else with the maps. So let's bring me back just so you can look at my ugly mug. We're going to have a bit of Dutch courage. And then we're going to try and run it. I think Fortress is maybe the easiest one because the boss isn't phased, but we'll see how it goes. So we need to roll it basically to not have extra life, because the more we take to kill things, the more we're likely to die. Difficulty is that most of the mods are hard on T17 maps. Good thing about this league, with all the haunting mods and the extra mods that you get, you can earn a ton of chaos in not a lot of time at all, so we can re-roll these maps. So I really don't want anything like minus res or fizzes extra, because it's just going to kill me. That movement speed doesn't look very nice. That's horrendous. I mean, they're all horrendous, to be fair. That's going to kill me very quickly. That's not going to work. It's going to cost me. It's going to cost me a little bit, I think, to re-roll these properly. And the problem is, I'm probably looking for a combination of mods that doesn't exist, because you're always going to just get insane stuff on these. I've got a little bit of the top hat as well, which is not ideal. So if we look here, chance to block attack damage you could get rid of. Reduced effect to non-cursor auras is pretty bad. Penetrating early resist is pretty bad. I mean, non-cursor auras is not the end of the world for my build, because I just have, I mean, it just means I get hit more, but we're going to get hit a lot anyway. This doesn't look that bad to me, so we're just going to respec 1 point on the tree, and then we'll go for it. I mean, I don't expect to clear this at all. I don't really know the bosses or very much at all about any of these maps, so we're going to take off this life, and we're going to put on monsters cannot block your attacks, and then we're just going to run with it, see what happens. I've no idea if we should be putting like influence or anything on these. I'm using my Legion tree because I managed to squeeze Shrines and Nico into here. We obviously won't be doing the Legion. So I guess we're going to put... Actually, let's do this sensibly. Let's go and put some more Shrine Scarabs in, which will be... I'm being blind. Why can't I see them? Here. Okay. So we're going to put in Shrines. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to put like frogs in or anything. I want to at least give it a proper attempt. I mean, do we just leave the influence off full stop? Maybe. Yeah, we will for now. Yeah, I've no idea how this is going to go. Is there anything really horrendous on here? Not really. So we will give it a go. And then for these things, we could probably replace these because they're going to be quite deadly, but they're not the worst mods in the world, and we did get 3 friendly mods, so I guess we just go with it. I don't know what boss fortress is, but we'll find out if we get to the boss, I suppose. Oh, did we drop the Divine Orb? Well, that's my first Divine Orb. See? T17 Map's OP. We won't bother looting yet because we're probably going to die constantly. Another Divine Orb. What's going on here? Did I miss something? Did I miss a Divine mod or something? Have I just totally fucked this map up? Who knows? That just seems a bit strange that we got that many. Whoa, that was close to dying. Where's my shrine? There we go. Grab Stranders. Did we get... No, there's no Divine Orb. I was just checking. I probably don't want this looser loot filter on, but this is my SSF loot filter, so it is what it is. Where's Nico? Oh, I've already got 1 Nico. But okay, we definitely do with finding the rest. Because you definitely want him. And I think he persists whether you die or not. Shrines, obviously, if we die, we're not going to get the shrine buffs won't persist, but Nico hopefully will if we can find him. Bit of a weird map. Why is it cutting that off? No idea. So we'll try and find the rest of our Nicos, and shrines would be good because we're sort of wasting time. In fact, our shrines are actually running out, which is not good. There's a big shout there. I don't know what that was. Didn't sound good. Grab Strand, why not? Oh, don't haunt him. That's definitely not what I want you to do. I think they're dead. Yep, probably. There's Nico. Right, there's another Nico. Whoa. There's another shrine up there as well, if we can grab it. We can. And then I guess we'll try and find this boss. Right, more Nico. Grab that. Run through. Be a wimp. We got our divines. That's all I care about. Oh. This way, hopefully. Oh, no. I'm terrible at this boss. This is not going to be good. I genuinely don't know how to do this boss. That doesn't look good. Whoa, okay, yeah, that's not good. That wrecked me a little bit. Oh, doing so well until then. Right, back in we go. Please tell me we keep Nico. We do, which is good. Oh, it's that stupid thing again that killed me last time. So I guess we keep moving, do we? Nope, we didn't keep moving. I decided to try and attack him as well. He hasn't got that much life, so we should be good, I think, for this one. He says. Okay, so we did get that done, but it was very easy, I think, for the mods. We got pretty lucky. And we got a fragment for Cirrus, and we got a fragment for Shaper. Okay, so I will go back and collect my loot and finish this map off, and then we'll go back and we'll look over the character. But at least we've got that slot unlocked, got Perseverance. And then I'll see you guys back in a second. I mean, since we're here, we may as well do the Legion. I don't know if it makes a difference in T17s or not, but And whether or not we can survive is another matter. So we'll just drop a portal up here and then we'll do it. Why not? Like, I don't know if it makes a difference. It's also in a terrible position, so we're not going to actually break many Legion monsters out. Obviously, we've got proximity bubble. Is there some down here? There is. Is that it? That is it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that probably wasn't worth doing with the small amount of monsters we got on the map, but it's a Legion tree, so we might as well do it. And I think there was some round here. Oh no, they're dead. Three chaos. Okay, so we unlocked our map device slot. At least that was probably one of the easiest rolled T17 maps you'll ever see. The DPS was actually okay without any tank mods on. I have no idea what I was doing on the boss we got through, which is fine. I can learn it later. But yeah, we got it done, which is more than I expected. So we'll come back in a second. We'll go through the character and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, so we'll run through the character very quickly. I'll go through gem changes and the gear. In terms of links, I've dropped my ballistas just because I got fed up putting them down, and on really hard content, they don't really survive. This would be better if it was 6 linked. So I've literally just got inspiration. Sorry, the cat is after some fuss again. We've got burning arrow, inspiration, storm rain, blast rain, and manifold arrows, just for a bit of supplementary single target. Got power charge on crit, inspiration, frenzy, and manifold arrows. The only other difference I've made is I've dropped volatility for increased crit damage. It was about 5% more DPS in POB. Everything else has remained the same. So we'll go through all of the gear. Why not? We've got our triple elemental spine bow with crit chance and crit multi. It doesn't have attack speed, but prod speed does give us extra damage through masteries. And I think attack speed is about 4% more damage. It does feel nicer and it's smooth, but I don't think it's worth recrafting because it is actually quite hard to hit attack speed with crit chance and crit multi. The helmet is just life, resistances. We got fizz damage taken as lightning and reduced mana cost of attacks with the Eldritch mods, and then crafted fizz taken as fire. The body armor is pure evasion, lots of resistances, evasion, no life, so we can use the 15% mastery. Fizz taken as fire and lightning. We've got increased effect of non-curse auras, and I ran out of the other currencies, so at the moment we've just got evasion rating. Amulet we had in the last one, it's just crit, life, attributes, and non-channeling skills. I did manage to find a few oils, so we've allocated Fury Bolts, which is not the best anoint, but it's prod speed, which gives us damage, and projectile damage and strength, so it works out pretty well. The quiver could be better, but it's decent enough. It's T2 lightning, T1 cold, T1 life, T2 crit chance, T1 crit multi, and T1 prod speed. The rings are literally just resistances, life, and non-channeling skills. This rolled a little bit nicer because it's got lightning damage to attacks. This one didn't roll life, so I've had to craft life. But our lightning arrow is only 5 mana cost, so it doesn't really matter. Apologies if you can hear the cat. The gloves are the ones we've crafted. We've got attack speed on them. We've run out of the other Eldritch currency, so I need to farm that. The boots, again, are the ones we crafted in this episode. Again, ran out of the blue currency, but we've got attack speed, or action speed even. And then this belt I'd like to replace with a Stygian Vise. I keep using the Abyss All Flames, but I haven't had one of the corpses drop. It would be nice to get this as a Stygian Vise, because just a jewel slotted in there would make a big difference. In terms of the tree, not really changed anything. The only thing I've done is I've dropped these mana reservation nodes, and I'm just running a lower level precision, because it allowed me to go up here to get Primeval Force, which is more damage. And then everywhere else we're going for the usual life, all the other normal bow nodes. I have had to take one intelligence node because I fall a little bit short for my intelligence requirements. I don't know what I want to do next episode. It would be very nice to maybe get a cluster jewel setup in. But as a tree without clusters, I do quite like this setup. And having 4.5k life does feel pretty good. We've got enough fizz taken as elemental that unless I'm juicing maps, I'm not really dying. Like, I've got to level 96 pretty comfortably. Obviously, if I decide to keep throwing myself at T17s, we're never going to get higher than this. But without cluster jewels, there's not really anywhere else to go on the tree unless we get like 2 to 3 points. And If I'm honest, I don't think I'm ever getting up to 98 or 99 on a lightning arrow character. So I'm not sure what I want to do next episode. I'm not sure what gear I want to upgrade or what content I want to do, or whether I want to start farming gear for another character. So hopefully by the time you tune into the next episode, I'll have had some sort of idea of what I want to do. That's it for this video. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.